Your neighbor didn't simply move away. He was harvested by something that doesn't even know how to blink. In the deep, humid heart of Georgia, the rustle in the peach orchards isn't the wind, and those tall green stalks standing motionless at the edge of the woods aren't part of the scenery. They are waiting. They are watching. For the first time in recorded history, the most efficient predator in the insect world has decided that the size of its prey is no longer a limitation. The Georgia Reapers have arrived, and they have reclaimed the crown of the food chain with a stillness that is more terrifying than any scream. The rural roads of the American South are famous for their quiet dignity, but lately that silence has become heavy, almost suffocating. Local folklore has always spoken of things in the woods, but what is happening now defies the usual ghost stories. This is a biological shift, a silent takeover by something we once considered a gardener's friend. The shift began in the humid corridors of the Peach State, where the dense canopy and the sprawling kudzu provide the perfect theater for a predator that relies entirely on being unseen. These entities don't hunt by chasing. They hunt by existing exactly where you think they aren't. On a hot July evening, when the cicadas suddenly stopped their rhythmic buzzing, the vacuum of sound is filled by something new. It is a rhythmic clicking, like dry bone striking weathered wood. You look toward the tree line expecting a deer, or perhaps a stray dog, but instead you see a pair of compound eyes, multifaceted and cold, reflecting the fading sunset from a height of 7 feet. It doesn't move. It doesn't need to. It has already calculated your distance, your weight, and the precise moment your guard will drop. This is the new reality for those who live on the edge of the green. The report started as anomalies, missing livestock found without a trace of a struggle, or hikers who vanished between two trail markers only 50 feet apart. There were no signs of the usual struggle associated with bears or coyotes. No tracks, no noise, just an absence. This has led some to suggest that the predator is a masterclass in biological engineering, where every limb is a serrated blade and every movement is a calculated strike. The perfect camouflage of these scaled-up entities makes the entire forest feel like a series of open jaws, waiting for the right moment to snap shut. Experts in biology point to the square cube law, claiming such a creature is a physical impossibility. They argue that an insect of that size would collapse under its own weight or suffocate because its respiratory system couldn't handle the volume. Yet, the evidence mounting in the red clay of Georgia suggests our understanding of these rules might be incomplete. Whether these beings are a specialized biological evolution, a mutation triggered by environmental shifts, or something entirely outside our current classification, they function with a mechanical precision that defies conventional science. They are biological machines designed for the harvest. The locals call them the Reapers for a reason. It's not just their shape, which mimics the harvester's scythe, but the way they seem to manage the landscape. They don't just kill, they prune. They remove elements of the ecosystem they find unnecessary, and increasingly, that includes the human presence encroaching on their territory. There is a chilling intelligence behind those unblinking eyes, a sense that they aren't just hungry, but purposeful. They are clearing the land, one silent encounter at a time, moving through the undergrowth with a grace that shouldn't be possible for something so large. Imagine a farmer stepping into his barn at dusk. He walks under what he thinks is a support beam covered in old, green-tinted moss. He has walked under that beam 1,000 times, but tonight he feels the air shift. He notices the beam has joints. This is the horror of the Reapers, the realization that the environment has become hostile in a way we are not evolved to detect. We are used to looking for the growl, the fur, and the teeth of the mammalian world. We are not prepared for the stillness, the chitin, and the strike that happens faster than the human eye can process. Some claim these creatures are the result of classified agricultural experiments gone wrong, an attempt to create the ultimate organic pest control that overstepped its bounds. Others whisper about ancient things that have always been here, sleeping in the earth, only now awakened by the changing climate and the abundance of new soft prey. Regardless of their origin, the reality is a growing number of unexplained disappearances in counties where the forests are the thickest. The state maintains a stance of undetermined wildlife activity, but the people on the ground know that the rules of the woods have changed. The terror isn't just in the physical threat, but in the psychological weight of being watched by something so alien. A mammal, even a predator like a wolf, has a logic we can understand. It has hunger, it has fear, it has social bonds. A reaper has none of these. It is a living trap that views a human being as nothing more than a collection of nutrients to be harvested and processed. There is no pleading with a creature that perceives time and movement in a way that makes us look like we are standing still. It is a one-sided interaction where the prey is chosen long before it realizes it's in danger. In the small towns of Middle Georgia, the porch lights stay on all night now. People have stopped taking the shortcuts through the woods, and the sound of a clicking branch is enough to send a grown man running for his vehicle. They see the way the tall grass parts when there is no wind. They see the way the birds avoid certain patches of the forest, as if those areas have been scrubbed of all life. The reapers have turned the concept of the great outdoors into a giant killing floor, where the floor itself is camouflaged. They utilize the verticality of the Georgia pines, waiting on branches 30 feet up, dropping with the silence of a falling leaf. By the time you feel the weight on your shoulders, the encounter is already over. There is no struggle, no second chance. There is only the sudden, sharp realization that you are no longer the observer of nature, but the subject of its most ruthless experiment. Consider the anatomy of the strike. A standard praying mantis can strike in about 30 milliseconds. That is 10 times faster than you can blink. If you scale that up to a 7-foot predator, the physics of the impact are devastating. It isn't just a grab. It's a structural failure of the prey's defense. This has given rise to the legend of the Georgia hook, a local story of people being lifted straight into the canopy without a sound. It's not a ghost story when you find a shoe or a hat caught in a high branch, far above where any person could climb. There is a theory that these creatures communicate through subaudible vibrations, a low-frequency hum that bypasses the ears and goes straight to the nervous system. This is why witnesses often report a feeling of intense dread or wrongness before they see anything. It's a biological jamming signal, an evolutionary tool designed to freeze the prey in place long enough for the reaper to align its strike. You don't just see the reaper, you feel it in your bones before your eyes even register the movement. The mystery deepens when you look at the areas where sightings are most frequent. They align perfectly with the green corridors, the protected wetlands and forests that crisscross the state. It seems the very efforts we made to preserve nature have provided the perfect highway for a predator that knows how to use that greenery as a cloak. We built the sanctuary, and something else moved in to claim the throne. The question remains, why now? Is it a surge in the insect population providing more fuel for growth? Is it a mutation triggered by the chemicals used in large-scale farming? Or is it something far more unsettling? A sign that the environment is producing its own response to deal with a certain bipedal infestation. When you see a reaper standing amidst the kudzu, its arms folded in a mock gesture of prayer, it's hard not to feel like you're looking at a judge. They are the shadows that have weight, the leaves that have eyes, and the silence that has a hunger. They remind us that our dominance over this planet is a fragile illusion, held together by the fact that we haven't been noticed by the true masters of survival. But in the Deep South, in the land of peaches and pines, that period of being ignored has come to an end. The mystery of the Georgia Reapers isn't about whether they exist. It's about how many of them are already standing right behind us, waiting for the perfect moment to reclaim their crown. They have all the time in the world, and they are very, very patient. The harvest is a slow process. It doesn't require the frantic energy of a wolf pack or the thunderous charge of a grizzly. It requires only the stillness of a statue and the patience of a stone. In the counties where the red clay meets the dark timber, families have begun to reinforce their windows not against intruders, but against the environment itself. They have learned that a screen door is no defense against a predator that can wait for days without a single twitch. They have learned that the clicking in the night isn't the house settling. It's the sound of something testing the perimeter. There is a specific kind of fear that comes with realizing you are being hunted by something that doesn't breathe the way you do. It doesn't have a heartbeat you can hear. It doesn't have a scent you can track. It is a ghost made of chitin and malice, a prehistoric nightmare rendered in modern emerald green. The state's forestry departments have noted strange patterns in the growth of certain areas. Patches of woods that seem too manicured, as if the undergrowth has been deliberately cleared to create sightlines. It suggests a level of territorial management that we typically associate only with higher intelligence. If you find yourself driving through the rural stretches of the Peach State tonight, keep your windows up. If you see an unusually tall, green shape standing by the side of the road, do not pull over to investigate. It isn't a trick of the light, and it certainly isn't a statue. Most importantly, whatever you do, do not blink. In the time it takes for your eyes to close and open again, the distance between you and the Reaper might have vanished entirely. The strike is faster than the signal from your nerves to your brain. You are gone before you even know you were reached. The Georgia Reapers represent the ultimate dark thriller of the natural world. They are the realization that the predator-prey relationship hasn't been abolished by technology. It has simply been waiting for a predator, capable of bypassing our defenses. As the sun sets and the long shadows of the pines stretch across the red earth, remember that the most dangerous monsters aren't the ones that roar. They are the ones that wait in perfect, prayerful silence, blending into the world until the very moment they decide to change it forever. The local diners and gas stations are filled with hushed conversations about the things seen in the periphery. A trucker who saw a shape step over a guardrail in a single stride. A land surveyor who found a tripod snapped in half like a toothpick, with no footprints nearby. These stories don't make the evening news, but they circulate through the community like a slow-acting poison. They build a picture of an apex predator that has mastered the art of the vanishing act. They are the masters of the no-trace hunt. Biological experts continue to debate the logistics of their existence, looking for pheromone trails or nesting sites, but the Reapers remain elusive. They don't leave behind dens or kills. They consume everything, leaving only the silence. This efficiency is what makes them truly terrifying. They are not messy eaters. They are not wasteful. Every encounter is a clean transaction of energy. In the grand ledger of the Georgia wilderness, the Reapers are the ones who balance the books, and currently the human presence is considered a surplus. As you sit on your porch, listening to the night sounds of the South, pay close attention to the gaps in the noise. The danger isn't in the sound of the cricket. It's in the moment the cricket stops. It's in the moment the breeze dies down, but the leaves keep moving. It's in the realization that the tall green plant in your garden wasn't there yesterday, and it seems a few inches closer every time you turn your back. The Georgia Reapers are not coming. They are already here. They are simply waiting for you to stop looking. The harvest has begun, and the reapers are in no hurry. They have been on this planet far longer than we have, and they know the value of the long game. They are the original masters of the ambush, the architects of the still hunt.
This chicken is
And they have finally found a prey that is both abundant and unsuspecting.
Pass the salt, please.
Tonight, the Georgia woods are alive with a hidden movement, a serrated shadow falling across the red clay. Stay in the light, stay alert, and remember that in the world of the Reaper, the only thing more dangerous than the dark is the green.